two great gentleman knives. God, that's a shitty term. Gentleman knives. So a gentleman knife is like a knife you could carry in an occasion where you're probably not even going to use it. But if you like to have a knife in your pocket, it's a good one to have. The thing about lots of your more tactical or just your general everyday carry knives are they look very, very knifey. These knives here are sort of designed to look a bit more familiar to people who aren't necessarily going to be interested in knives. So familiar as in either they look like maybe they're kitchen knives from their house, just folding versions, or maybe they're just because they look a bit more conservative, like perhaps something their grandpa maybe carries, something that's not going to cause any alarm. So I guess the most common sort of function of these is to be taken to an occasion like a wedding or an event birthday like a 50th or a diamond jubilee or the Queen's birthday or perhaps being knighted or maybe at the Nobel Peace Prize awards ceremony for winning the Peace Prize for making people okay with batoning with knives on bushcraft forums, similar occasions to those. These are the knives to carry with you when you want to pull it out and perhaps not send everyone away too bothered at having seen someone carrying a pocket knife. So the first knife is the Alma Falcon. The Alma Falcon, as you can see, it's very, very familiar looking. It's kitchen-esque. Once again, this is a 1.25 ounce knife. So that's in like the the high 30s, low 40 grams, just for someone who's perhaps not familiar with ounces and pounds. Or if you're like me, that weighs about as much as a box of Neon Nerds, which is something that we can all work with surely. So AUS 8 steel blade, fully flat ground, nice, familiar, again with the gentleman's theme, lockback. This is a terrific knife. This is a great pure everyday carry knife as well as a great gentleman knife. However, not something you want to push much further than the bounds of either of those two. Enter player 2 in our little comparison / overview here, the Spyderco Centofante. Centofante. This is a much more robust gentleman's folder. It weighs about twice as much as well. This is about 2.4 grams, which will be in about the 70 to 80 grams. Did I say 2.4 grams? 2.4 ounces. It's about the 70 to 80 gram sort of weight there. This has got a VG10 blade, which is about the same length as the Alma, but you can see here that the handle is slightly longer. The whole knife just generally a bit more robust. The Alma has a slight bit of lock rock to it, slight bit of wiggle to the blade. The Centofante, rock solid. You can definitely push the Centofante a bit harder. In fact, the Centofante definitely can stray upwards into perhaps the more working knife or dare I say it, harder use philosophy of the sort of more standard pocket knife. The main differences between these two are going to be the grind and the general size in the pocket. The Alma runs a full flat grind in its AUS 8 steel, which makes it a supreme slicer. I believe I did a slicing montage using this knife. It's probably the best slicing knife I've had so far. It is super thin, and the flat grind really lets the material part but not shatter as the blade passes through it. An issue you may have with the Centofante is the hollow grind. The hollow grind will part the material on its very keen edge very, very well. However, when the material hits that shoulder, it may well begin to split and separate. So this is where I'm talking about more gentlemanly, applications, such as slicing food. So let's get some cheese out, for example. And as you can see, the Alma slices really well through this. Is quite crumbly Danish feta cheese, very, very prone to shattering, as I was saying, on that shoulder. And then we'll run a few slices of that with the Alma, and then now you can see with the Centofante, just a little bit more likely to split as the knife passes through it. So this is a really finicky little detail, but if it's something you're going to be using your gentleman's pocket knife for a lot, then it might be something to consider. In terms of moving upward through the pantheon of knife activities, both of these will sort of do wood not too badly. I mean, there's been far more frail knives being used for far more many years than I've been alive for wood carving, all that sort of thing. I mean, geez, until about 30, 40 years ago, there wasn't even locking knives. Everyone just used slip joints. that's what you got. So, I mean, really, they're both still fine for that sort of thing, but the Centofanti definitely feels more robust, probably just more to its handle rather than anything else about the blade, but just in general, it feels like it's a more doable knife when you're doing wood carving and that sort of thing. Even when it comes to rope cutting, still does really, really well, and sort of parts the rope a lot more easily than the sort of flat, thin, slicey grind of the Alma rather. So the Alma, much more at home, scaled back to these sort of food prep related activities. It will do wood, but it doesn't feel as good, and it will do rope, but it doesn't feel as good. Both of these are fantastic gentleman or formal carry, or whatever you want to call it, knives. They're both great knives for carrying in occasions where subtlety is needed, or just in occasions where you want something a bit more flash looking. As you can see, they both have sort of nice, familiar, yet very polished features. So the Alma's got its mirrored bolsters and that are completely flush with the micarta handle and sort of just nice, clean lines and design. The Centofanti has a bit more of an interesting design, still rather posh looking. However, it's got that little palladium silver inset on the handle as well, which makes it just that little bit cooler as well. So overall, if I was to choose a gentleman's knife, I just wish there was a different term for that. If I was to choose, a knife for formal occasions, I think I'd probably stick with the Alma myself. I think it's just more me. And the Alma is doing really well for me for just as a pure everyday carry knife as well. It's a great little letter opener, and I love saving that size and weight and all that sort of business. Whereas the Centofanti, you feel like it's filling your pocket a little bit more. The Alma, as I like to do, I like to carry my Alma Falcon and then carry a secondary knife. I wouldn't feel like doing that with the Centofanti. That's about the only thing I have to say. In terms of material, the VG10, it's a little bit better than the AUS 8. So in terms of price and value, the Centofanti is definitely where it's at. The handle material, probably a little bit better in the Alma than micarta. A bit more, tricky to manufacture. The FRN is absolutely fine in the Centofanti, of course. It's machined and finished nicely, so it doesn't look cheap like it often does in other knives. So really, I would still put the value-wise on the Centofanti as the better value knife, but I think if you wanted something that you would definitely be okay carrying at that ceremony for the award for the best YouTube knife reviewer of under 2,000 subscribers, ladies, then probably the Alma is the one to stick with. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all later.